Shabbat Shalom, everyone. On this Parshat, a double Parsha, Nitzavim Vayelech. This morning I'm going to be touching upon a few psukim that we read throughout these double Parshiot, one of which I created a musical setting for. Ki karov, karov elecha, hadavar ma'od. Ki karov, karov elecha, hadavar ma'od. Beficha uvelevavcha, beficha uvelevavcha, beficha uvelevavcha la'asoto. So as the Holy Blessed One's words come through the Klei Kodesh, God's holy vessel known as Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our teacher, God wants us to be reminded that these words that are coming from, let's call it heaven, but perhaps let's call it that which is so near that we can taste it. Why? Because it's very, very near to us. It's in our mouths, it's in our hearts that we may do it. We've had a month of Musar teachings. And in the preface of the consummate book of Musar, Chaim Luzzatto, he says, I'm going to share with you some teachings that you know. I'm not reminding you of anything you don't know. So every teaching that you are taught, every gift in this way that you are given, you already possess it in your heart, la'asoto, to do it. And so, Parshat Nitzavim starts out with the following. Atem Nitzavim hayom kulchem lifnei Adonai Elohechem. You. Now, if you're paying attention to the grammar, atem is you in the plural. Atem nitzavim. Now, nitzavim does not really mean to stand, because otherwise it would say omdim. It means to stand strongly with your 2 feet set in the foundation of the ground, ready to receive. Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem. Today, hayom kulchem, all of you, lifnei Adonai Elohechem, you stand fiercely, strongly, this day, all of you before your God, Yud He Vav He. Note that it says hayom, hayom. We're going to be singing hayom, 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 hayom te'amseinu very soon for Rosh Hashanah. Renee gave me an amen. Hayom means this day, which can only mean this, that our tradition teaches that when the Torah was given, all the Israelites and the mixed multitudes as well were standing at Sinai. Not only those who had just exited Egypt, but check this out, all those who would come into this world in the future were present there. Revelation was so important that even those who did not exist had to witness it directly. What does that mean in reality? I think it means this, that all of us were standing at Sinai together at that time. If you've been left out of this little slideshow, please forgive me. I only had so much room. But perhaps you are covered here as well. You stand here, all of you, before your God, Yud He Vav He. And of course, you probably were standing there with your animals, just ready for the animal parade. Another very, very important pasuk from this double parsha is Lo Bashamayim He. It is not in heaven. What is it referring to? It means that the Torah is not in heaven. that what is above is also within, and that WGOD, Radio Sinai, is constantly on the air. It is not in heaven, lo b'shamayim hi le'mor. It's not in heaven so that you should say, mi aleh lanu hashamayim avichacheh lanu, v'yashmir oto v'na'asana. Who shall go up to heaven and bring it to us that we may hear it and do it? In other words, we're not supposed to wait for somebody, anybody, to go grab these teachings from some far-off place that we call heaven, because heaven, I'm in heaven. Heaven's right here in our hearts. Sometimes I crack myself up. Ki karov elecha hadavar ma'od, b'ficha u'v'levavcha la'asoto. But this word is karov. It is very near to you in your mouth and in your heart that you may do it. The parsha goes on. V'yata kitvu lachem et hashira hazod v'lamda et bnei Yisrael. Divinity says to Moshe, write this shir, this poem for yourself, and teach it to the children of Israel. In other words, we're supposed to be singing this. The entirety of our tradition is meant to be sung. And music in that way has a very, very special place in our heritage. In fact, the word shir can as easily be translated as what? As a song, or as a poem. Or it could also be translated as Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash. We're supposed to sing a new song. We're not supposed to get so wrapped up in habitual behavior, meaning singing the old melodies all the time. I know it's nice to go to shul and hear melodies that are familiar, and that is good. But one new melody, the psalmist is teaching us, sing something new and you will bring yourself to the moment in a way that you never did before. Something else that is a shir? Shir HaShirim, the Song of Songs. And of course, one last thing is that it's a shir, and that is a pictorial pun for those of you who know who that is. Sing unto Yah a new song. Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash. Sing unto God a new song. Shiru Ladonai, Shiru Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Once there was a king. Once there was a king who had a court musician. And the king loved his court musician, for the musician would play the same song, the king's favorite song, to the king every day. And the king loved his musician, and the musician loved his king. But after a while, the king realized that the musician was growing tired of playing that same old song over and over again. And the song grew stale. So the king came up with an idea. He brought in a visitor to the castle. And then the court musician had a different person to play it to, and the song was refreshed. It was a shir chadash, as if he was playing it for the first time. But after a while, the king ran out of new friends, new people to bring to the castle. And so the song grew stale for the musician. But then the king decided to throw a large party, the biggest party that he ever threw. And the musician was thrilled. He played to his heart's content, and the song was played anew again. But my friends, you know what happens when you play it the same way over and over and over again? Life becomes stale. And so the king had to come up with one last idea. The king brought in his musician and he blindfolded him. I suspect it didn't look like that. And the king told the musician that the room was filled with new friends. To imagine in his mind that the room was filled with new friends and to play that song to his heart's content as if it were new. And that's what the musician did. He imagined in his mind that this song was moving through him as if he never played it before. And in that way, the song was played anew for the very first time. This story, as told by Reb Shlomo Carlebach, has at the end of it Reb Shlomo's comment, which I would like you to give some thought to. The greatest sin in the world, teaches Reb Shlomo, is to do something for the second time. For this leads to walking down the same old paths in the same old way. And when we bring something new to it, as if we sang something for the first time, we are reborn, we are renewed, and we are refreshed, and we bring to it the beauty that is hidden deep inside each and every unique moment. On this Shabbat, Nitzavim Vayelech, may you sing your song always as if for the first time. And may your song, in all its uniqueness, serve as your legacy for generations to come. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.